There are tons of people who are advocating for you to make a side hustle and multiple income streams. And you know what? I am one of them because I think that if you're going to eventually do the work that you want to do, then you're going to have debt free and you're going to have a little bit of an emergency fund so that you have something to invest in yourself. So I'm reading the news the other day, as I do pretty much every morning, and I come across an article that basically says I asked ChatGPT how I can make an extra $5,000 a month, and here is what it said. It basically gave 10 different side hustles or multiple income streams that you can build. And I thought today I would break them down. So let's chat. You're probably thinking, why should I listen to you as opposed to anyone else? And that is a great question. I am bone crushingly normal. I'm from middle America. I went to public high school. I went to local college. I am even 6 foot at 200 pounds and a size 10 shoe. I couldn't be more normal. But I got a feeling that that's like a lot of you out there. Maybe not exactly. Maybe you have a little bit larger of a shoe size. But the truth is that I got a feeling that it's very much like you. And it's part of the power of viewing this from someone who's like you is I'm going to run through these and kind of rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 on what I think you should be doing and what you should not be doing. And quite frankly, give you a little bit of insight into what I'm doing. So if that sounds like you, if that sounds like something you're interested in, then let's keep going. So number one, I absolutely love. And basically, it says that you should freelance your current skills. So basically, they're saying that you can make between $1,000 to $5,000 a month, working 10 to 15 extra hours. For the sake of this video, we're going to assume that you're going to work 10 extra hours per week. That raises a 40-hour week to a 50-hour week. It's like 2 hours a day. It's not super crazy. So let's just assume 10 hours. Now, what do you charge hourly in order to try and do this? I would set a hourly rate for your side hustles for at least what you make. So let's assume that you make about $25 an hour. That's about $55,000, which is about middle income or about regular income where I'm from today. So, okay, let's just assume 25 bucks an hour. So freelancing is essentially using skills that you already have on a website like Upwork or Fiverr or something like that to get jobs doing some of the other stuff. It doesn't have to come from the internet. You can absolutely do your work for somebody else that you already know in your personal network. But I do suggest that you go to these websites and that you try to get yourself on there in order to get these side hustles. I think that's an excellent way to get hired. Actually, I have a video on how I used AI to get some of these jobs, so I'll try to link to it so that you can watch that video. So, all right, so you go on and you get yourself a side hustle making $25 an hour, and you basically work 10 extra hours a week. That's $250 per week. Or $1,000 a month. That was a pretty easy setup because you didn't have to learn anything new. You didn't have to do anything new in order to get it. You will need a profile to set it up on Upwork or Fiverr, but honestly, it's probably my favorite of the side hustles. I've actually used this and I do make quite a bit of extra side hustle money based on this sort of process. So I really like this one. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. If you're not doing this already, you probably should. Even if you work just a couple hours a week. Super easy to do. Number two is coaching. And I love this. In fact, I'm a coach myself, and this is actually how I got my start into coaching. So I love this idea. If you have been doing what you have been doing for a long time, maybe it's not what you do for a living, but you play the piano, or you are a volleyball person who's been involved in college volleyball and all that kind of stuff, I highly suggest that you can coach other people, even if it is on what you do on a daily basis. You can coach other people to help them get to where you are. I would go back to the first one and advocate for Fiverr or Upwork in order to get clients, but you can also reach out to your social network and say, look, I'm looking to train the next generation of salespeople, and I want to find 2 or 3 people that want some mentorship. I think this is an excellent way to do it. It's very low risk as far as your setup fee is included and stuff like that. I don't think that it takes a lot of capital, and I do think that it's got a higher potential for income than just simply doing the same thing that you do now on the side. I think that you should probably double what you make on an hourly rate, but quite honestly, you could probably go for way more than that. So if you work 10 hours a day or 10 hours a week and you can charge double your normal rate, which is $50 an hour, you're going to make $500 a week or $2,000 a month. So I love this one. 10 out of 10 AI, you did a good job. Now, number 3 is actually still in the same vein. It's just being a virtual assistant. Now, I don't know that you're going to be able to charge $25 an hour for this, but maybe you will. And if you can, fantastic. I think that you should shoot for that goal, but I honestly think that you might have to come in a little bit lower because it might be hard to get started if you've not done this a ton. That being said, if you're already some sort of administrative executive assistant or something like that in your normal life, or you're really good at that because that's what you do, you're your own administrative assistant and you're a ninja when it comes to email and stuff like that, you may be able to charge even more than what the hourly rate that we're setting here. But again, I love this because the setup is almost zero. I again would say Upwork, Fiverr, reach out to your personal network, find somebody who basically needs a couple hours a week of a little bit of extra help, and then do that thing. I actually do employ a virtual assistant that helps me with a few of the things inside of a couple of my businesses, and I pay them $20 an hour. And I think it's a great thing. Mine is a college student who doesn't have time to work a full-time job right now because they're trying to do their full-time student, and they can kind of do the work whenever they want. There's a deadline on some of it, but quite honestly, I don't care if it's 9 o'clock at night or whatever. So she makes extra money on the side and money for her, her school by being a virtual assistant to me and a couple of other people, and she's happy with it, I'm happy with it, and it's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 out of 10, but I think that it's difficult to charge a premium rate at the top. I think that if you work 10 hours a week on this, I don't think that you're going to get right away that where we want to be, which is your hourly income or above. I think you're going to have to start off a little bit lower. So 9 out of 10. Still good job, AI. Number 4, still keeping in the same vein here, is tutoring or teaching online. I love this one too. The setup isn't too crazy on this, but you do have to find somebody who is looking for a tutor. So if you're in college already or you have a local college, there's probably somebody here that is looking for the tutoring or something like that. Or if you're a teacher as your main job and you're looking for a side hustle, you could definitely teach in that situation. But I think that you have to have some established authority already in what it is that you're going to coach on. So if you're already a lawyer and you want to help people get through law school, I think that is exactly what we're talking about here. Maybe you have an insurance license like I do, and you want to help people get their insurance license and study for that test, or real estate's the same situation. And you want to coach people through that process of learning those things. I think these are great things, but I think that you have to have that established authority. As far as income wise, it kind of depends. So like if you take something like a insurance license and somebody can go out and instantly start making a little bit more money, I think that you can make money there, but I also think that it's not something that the person can't do themselves. You're just helping. So I do think that you can make our established goal of $25 an hour, but I don't know that you can make as high of money as you can maybe coaching or bringing somebody out. The way that you gauge this is by what is the person going to get out of it? So if they can take this and suddenly make a bunch of money, then maybe they're willing to pay for it. But if it's something they can do themselves, you're going to have a hurdle to get over in this particular case. But passing a law school degree or passing the law test, the LSAT, I think it's called, to get into law school, that might be something that's pretty huge. You might get a little bit more money for that, and it's going to be like a one-time fee and then on to it. So I give this one about a 7 out of 10 because I think that you've got to have a established authority already. You got to know how you're doing it, and you got to find a place that is going to help you get that job. You could put it on Facebook. Hey, I'm hoping to tutor some people, and maybe you get a little bit, but I don't know that you're going to get 10 hours a week directly from that sort of thing. So I think you're going to want to reach out to the local schools or have some established authority. So not exactly super easy to get into, but still decent. So good job. I wanted to take just a second and pause and do a special message here. Like, first off, thank you very much for giving me the time of day to watch my video, and it really helps the channel if you make sure that you're subscribed and like the video and comment. But also for yourself and for your friends, if this is a video that you think has some good information, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video, give it to somebody else so that they can make some extra money. That's what this channel is all about. Thank you. The next two, I'm going to just basically dive in all at once. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because these are my lowest rated ones. I give both of them about a 4 out of 10. So the reality of it is that these two are either flipping items for a profit or print on demand. Now, if you're a creative person and you spend a lot of time doing creative things, then a print on demand or, selling an item online makes absolutely fantastic, good sense. But if you're not, and the majority of people I feel really are not, you don't want to spend all of your time at the weekend going to thrift shops, going to yard sales, looking for items to flip or selling off the items that you have. It's not a long-term potential in my mind. I could be wrong. It might be perfect for you, but for me, I'm going to rank that relatively low. Same with print on demand. If you're going to go to Canva and you're going to basically create templates for certain things and then wait for people to buy them, I think that is a difficult way to make extra money on your side because it depends on too much over here in order to know what you're going to get out of it. It's great if you want to set these things up and spend the time doing it because it can be evergreen, especially the print on demand. You create a couple of templates and put it out there and people buy them and you could get money for it forever. I actually just made money off of Amazon for a book that I wrote last year. I didn't have to do anything for that. I just made money because somebody bought my book. Several somebodies, but you get what I'm saying. And that's a fantastic way to do it. But I think that there's too much of a barrier to entry because you got to be creative or you got to go find the items to get rid of and flip. You got to know a lot about what people are going to want. You got to know a lot about what people are going to desire in both of these things. And then you have to invest the time and capital up front. 4 out of 10, you could have done better AI, but honestly, for the right person, these are great things. Number 7, affiliate marketing or blogging. I love this one actually, and I think that this one is relatively easy to set up, but I will say that you're going to have to spend a little bit of time, and that's why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, is that it's a little difficult to set up. Basically, you have to have social media, which most people always have. YouTube is a huge with affiliate marketing, and basically you're going to review the items that you already use in your daily life, and then you're going to have a link to set it up and people will buy it and you'll make money off of it. You can go directly from the company. Affiliate marketing is a huge place and way to make side capital. I'm not going to dig into it here because I'm quite honestly not an expert, but I do have some affiliate links set up for some items and stuff like that you've seen in some of my other videos. This bag, a lot of other things are absolutely fantastic. So I think this is a good way to make extra money because you don't have to do any work. Once you have the link set up, you've got the social media post out there, the video out there, whatever, of you reviewing it or talking about it or whatever that you do, it just works and it's evergreen, so it works forever, but it's not necessarily something to where you can be sure of what you're going to get out of it. So I'm going to give this one a little bit lower of a ranking because of that situation, but honestly, I do think that this is something that if you are blogging, you're on social media, you're doing these things, I do think that you should set this up. I do think that this is a very good way to make some side hustle. The last two are my lowest ranking ones, but they can also have the highest potential for earning. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword there. Number 8 is to start a local business. You're going to spend time doing this. So if you like pressure washing people's porches and houses and stuff like that, you can buy a pressure washer, you can show up and you can charge them for your services. The same thing is painting or detailing cars or doing lawn care, all of those things. Excellent ways to make money. I think that the services are absolutely necessary, and I think that it is a very easy way to make a income. This is for my people who are wanting to escape but don't want to totally escape. Maybe you're on the verge of retirement. Maybe this is something you're thinking about. I'm actually coaching somebody right now who is starting a detailing service. So he's leaving his full-time job, slowly ramping up his detailing service, and then eventually he wants to make the leap and do it 100%. So this one's going to get a 5 out of 10 because it's so hard to get into, but it is an excellent potential for earning as you go through this. And it's also a way to escape what it is that you're doing. But be careful. Make sure that your side hustle that you're doing here, this business that you're starting, is something that you might want to do long term. It also has a scalability here because you don't necessarily have to do the work. Let's say that you want to start a lawn care business. You can absolutely hire some people to do the lawn care business for you, and you just basically front them the money for the equipment and pay them an hourly wage and go out and get the clients, and then they show up and do the work. So there's a lot of potential here, but it's a complex system. It's not as easy as, say, just going to Fiverr and doing some coaching. It's not that easy. It's going to take some setup. It's going to also take some investment capital, generally speaking, to get some of this set up. It can be little bits. Painting is one of those things that won't cost a lot of money to get into, but it is difficult to find the clients and do all this other stuff. The last one is my least favorite idea just because the barrier to entry is so high, and it's real estate or Airbnb property. I don't advocate this one at all to anybody that I'm coaching. I think that this is a difficult way to get into business for yourself. If you're in a situation where you already have a home that's fully paid off and you want to try and rent it out, maybe you inherited it or something like that, that would make sense. Or you inherited it and you want to flip it and rent it out, or you want to flip it and sell it or something like that. That makes perfect sense to me. But I think that this one is the highest on the risk chart, and it is the highest on the way to get out of it. That being said, it might be up there as far as highest earning potential as well. But I think that this one is out there and there's a lot of information. So I would say do your due diligence. If this is what you want to do, one of my favorite people on YouTube, Gabe Bolt, he actually made a really good career of doing just this simple thing. But he had a lot of things going for him that put him in that direction. So head over to his channel and watch him. I think he's great. And do your research if this is a way that you want to make money on your side hustle. But for me, I don't advocate this type because I think that the barrier of entry is so high. So I'm giving this one a 1 out of 10. There's going to be a lot of people who might disagree with me on that, and that's okay. So that's everything. That is the total 10. And I think that it did a pretty good job. At the end of the day, I agree with a lot of what it said. I don't like a lot of what it said, and that's perfectly fine. I feel like AI did a pretty good job here. I'd like to know in the comments which ones you are going to go after. And I have a couple of things for you here. So first off, if you don't have any startup capital and you want to try some of these things, I've created a guide that basically helps you get $1,000. So it is the way that I would find $1,000 if I needed $1,000 to start one of these things here. And you can get to it by a link in the description below. And basically you go to the link, you put in your email address, and you get the list and you go find your $1,000. It's that simple. It doesn't cost you anything except for your email address. And I'm not gonna spam you on it. I am just basically gonna use it to maybe send you some other stuff that I think you might like, or some other things that I might think is good for you. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can opt out at any time. I hope that you enjoyed this. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Just say hi. I love it when people say hi. Other than that, thank you very much for giving me your time and watching. Goodbye.